This is Cheryl Todd of Gun Freedom Radio.
And I'm the other guy, Dan Todd, reminding you that we and the show you are listening to are proud members of the Self-Defense Radio Network.
Find out more and check out all of the other great shows and content at selfdefenseradio.net.
Welcome to Unload and Show Clear, the podcast about all things IDPA. And now, here's your host, the slayer of non-threats, Lloyd Bailey.
Welcome to another episode of Unload and Show Clear, where we counter the media's negative image of gun culture by introducing you to the amazing men and women who are involved in IDPA, International Defensive Pistol Association. We're focusing on people, not politics. The everyday people from all walks of life, men and women who volunteer their time and effort, who spend their hard-earned dollars on travel, match fees, and gear to make this sport great. They're your doctors. They clean your teeth. They're fixing your houses, taking care of your pets. They fix your computers and pilot your planes, and they protect our streets and our nation. They are gun culture at its finest, and it's misunderstood or completely unknown to the mainstream media. Today, I'm going to introduce you to another one of these awesome people. But first, I want to thank today's sponsor. As we've heard on this show from match directors across the country, match directors face many challenges in running local or sanctioned matches. The weather is the most unpredictable and potentially the most ruinous. Nothing sucks the fun out of a perfectly planned match like shooting in the pouring rain or the sweltering heat, scoring soggy targets under plastic bags, or squinting at failing tablets that have been exposed to the heat of the midday sun. Whatever the challenge that nature throws your way, our friends at Match Shark can help. Match Shark's patent-pending target shields keep your targets dry even in heavy rain. They allow you to run your matches more smoothly because setup and teardown is easy, pasting is easier, scoring is easier, and for the shooter, you can see the target more clearly because you don't have to cover them in plastic bags. And their new line of tablet shades help you keep your tablets cool and extend the life of their batteries when they're exposed to sunlight all day. They reduce eye strain too, which makes tablet use much easier for your safety officers and shooters. Designed and manufactured here in the USA, owned and operated by shooters with years of experience in setting up and running matches, let Match Shark help you run your matches faster, smarter, and better. Check them out today at matchshark.com. Get everything you need to be prepared for your next match, just in case Mother Nature decides to show up and spoil things. Match Shark target shields and tablet shades can make it a better experience for your safety officers and for your shooters. Go to matchshark.com today. Today is our 100th interview show, and as I promised, we're doing something special. I've been to matches where you see wives and girlfriends and kids and grandkids, and maybe you're like me and you would like to get the most important people in your life involved in this sport that you love. Well, today we are going to talk about that subject with my special guests. I was invited by match director Chris Jamison to attend the 2019 Walking in Memphis IDPA Championship. I want to thank Chris for making that possible. And I decided to bring my lovely wife, Tammy, and our daughter, Rylan, to the match to introduce them to the sport, and they are both here as my special guests for this 100th interview show. Welcome to the show, girls.
Hi. Hi, thank you.
Now, I've been shooting IDPA since 2012, some years more actively than others, but my wife, Tammy, has never attended a match. So let's start off with you and what you thought about the sport before you actually saw it in person. What did you think I was off doing on weekends?
I don't know. It wasn't as different as I thought that it would be. I mean, I knew that you went and you met up with friends who had similar interests and who, you would go from a stage to a stage and shoot and whatnot. So yeah, that was kind of what I expected. But I've seen the videos, so it's not like it was a complete surprise. Yeah.
Did the idea of me early on when I first got started? Do you remember how Do you remember how you thought of it then? Did it worry you about me?
Yeah, it worried me because when I heard defensive pistol, because I grew up in a home we didn't have a gun.
Right.
Yeah, because I'm like, why are you learning defensive tactics when, we're not law enforcement kind of people?
Gotcha. Now, our son used to go with me to matches. He even competed in some sanctioned matches early on, especially after we moved to Texas. But he was only really doing it because he thought that's what I wanted him to do. Didn't really like it, but it wasn't really his thing. Did it worry you at all? I mean, aside from that part of it, did it worry you at all, him coming to matches as a youth?
Yes, because I didn't realize all the safety measures that were in place, and he was new to shooting a weapon, and again, just didn't know all the safety procedures that were there, that there were, the safety officers, and that there were guidelines, and that people just didn't walk around with their guns on their hip ready to have a shootout. Because, I had misconceptions. Yeah, really did.
Your first experience with IDPA was back in, I think it was 2015. We went to the Badlands Regional in Oklahoma. You and the kids came along, but you dropped me off at the range and decided that you were going to do your thing and then come get me after. And there's a funny story surrounding this, so I thought I would share it.
But remember, it was because the weather was so bad.
The plan was that you and the kids were going to hang at the hotel and go to the pool, maybe get something to eat. How did that turn out?
Oh, dear Lord. I don't want to embarrass our child that's right here, but we would have been better off with the tornado hitting probably because we were kind of stuck in the hotel room, and she was heck on wheels, and the brother and I had our hands absolutely full. So yeah. Well, you're 9 now, so that was, you were 5, right? Maybe 6.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No, she was 5.
5.
She was quite little.
Yeah. And it rained cats and dogs. Did that experience turn you off from the idea of ever going to another match?
Yeah. But we didn't go to a match. We went with you. We were going, like I said, we were hoping to show up, but just so happened that, it was really bad weather during that time. Right. And we didn't want to get her out. We didn't want to be out. And so, it was just a series of bad things, but it turned out great in the end. So,
yeah. So later on, you got your own gun, your own holster. You've gotten your license to carry here in Texas. We've even discussed a number of times we've discussed you coming with me to matches and maybe shooting at some point. And you're super competitive. So I think you'd love it, but it hasn't happened. What do you think to this point has sort of kept you from taking that step and saying, yeah, this is what I want to do? Well,
like you said, the competitive part, which I don't want to show up out there and not be good.
Okay.
So practice. And we do. We need to get out and practice more, and that's fun. I have a hard time waiting my turn. That was my problem in softball, was I had to wait so long for my turn to come up to bat, and being out there in the field and waiting on the ball to come to me. So I'm not very patient.
Yeah, neither am I.
No,
definitely not me.
Well, fortunately, there are things to keep you busy. You can always help paste in between shooters, so that's always good. Shooting is optional, pasting is mandatory. So you can always keep busy with stuff to keep your mind off the fact that you're waiting to shoot.
I was never bored when we went to Memphis.
Right.
I had a really good time. It was super humid, it was hot, but I had a great time. I enjoy, I like to watch people too, and I like to meet people. I'm an extrovert, and I enjoy that. And it was so cool getting to meet people that you talk about on a regular basis, and then I see posting and making comments, and they're who've been on the podcast. So I thought that was pretty cool, and it was a great experience.
How did it compare to, like you said earlier, you'd only seen me shoot on video? How did it compare seeing it in person to what you had in your mind about what it was like before you actually were there?
I went into it thinking, and this is honest, I thought it would be somewhat boring.
Okay.
But it wasn't. Even when it wasn't your turn, because that's when I get all the video and all of that, it was neat watching everyone else, take their turn shooting. And like I said, again, interacting with other people and just kind of that family atmosphere. It was that was really, really neat. And the setup that they had there in Memphis, wow, those were some of the coolest stages that I've seen. Like I said, I've seen what you've posted before, but those are really cool. I liked it. It was a lot of fun.
It was pretty neat. So what did you think of the sport itself? Did you learn anything that you didn't know going in? I mean, you've seen me, like we said, you've seen me shoot on video, which is no great shakes, but you got to see me in person making those mistakes and screwing up and shooting non-threats. What did you think about the sport itself? And did you learn anything about the sport that you didn't know going in?
It's much more methodical than I thought it was.
Did you sort of picture people just sort of running around and, shooting willy-nilly or?
No, I knew that you guys took turns. Like I said, I saw, the videos and whatnot, but I didn't realize that you guys would review the stage before you started and kind of do the walkthroughs and that sort of thing. And that was, because I did kind of think that there was a little bit of, okay, guys, this is what you do when you show up there at the stage and you're expected to
just go at it,
to go at it and shoot and that sort of thing. So that was really neat, and seeing the technical aspects of that. And there was a lot of terms, that I didn't know what they meant. I think I asked you a few times, but was really neat. And like I said, everybody was just super friendly and welcoming. And
Yeah, everybody was really nice.
What did, we talk about the guests. The guests on the show talk a lot about the people in the sport. And the last question I always ask is, what is it that you love about IDPA? And the overwhelming majority of people say it's the people. It's the people, the camaraderie, the family atmosphere. What was your impression of IDPA people and that the atmosphere there at the match?
I expected people would be nice, but it was beyond that. I'm pretty good at picking up vibes off people, former counselor. But, right from the moment we pulled up, and it's everybody greeting each other, hey, brother. And I really loved that it was pretty diverse in backgrounds and people that we spoke to and, people from different areas and whatnot. And I just thought, wow, that is really awesome because, unfortunately, the mainstream media presents people who enjoy shooting sports, who own firearms as a certain type.
Yeah.
And it's a negative type, and they perpetuate that, and that's not the case. And I didn't really believe that to begin with, but this just really pointed that out to me even more, how diverse the personalities and the backgrounds are, and educational backgrounds and, occupations and whatnot.
Right. And you got to meet some of our previous guests and some people who have become sort of Facebook friends, not, they're friends, but you haven't actually gotten a chance to meet them face to face. The Schmeeds, the Cody and Marga Ray and Mike Plato and some others. What was it? How different was it? What was that experience like? You got to actually see what these people are like face to face.
I know. One of them I want to fix up with someone in my family already.
Oh, that's right.
Matchmaking. Like I said, they were just super friendly and welcoming, and it does have this family atmosphere about it, and everybody wants you to come back and they want to make sure you're taken care of.
What did you think of the match? What did you expect going into it? I mean, you've gone to the range with us before and you've shot some guns before, which you enjoy, but you've never actually gone with me to a match and seen it. What did you expect?
Well, I didn't expect that much. It was really different because the videos, to me, they were like, I did.
Because you don't really get to see the behind the scenes.
The matches were really cool, to be honest.
Did it look like it was something that would be fun to do?
Yes, definitely. I would really enjoy to do that.
Would you like to shoot a match sometime? Would you like to come and actually try it out
Definitely,
yourself?
yes.
How about you, Mom?
Oh, yes. I think it looked like a lot of fun. Like I said, I love to shoot, but like when the four of us go, I have a hard time waiting my turn. That's the only, you've got to keep me occupied in between. I need to be one of those pacer people.
So now that you've seen it and you know what it's like up close, and you kind of have a better idea how it works, is this something you'd like to try to do now? I mean, I've been asking for some time, and
Thanks for the guilt.
No, I'm no, I haven't made it happen. We haven't made it happen. You've now seen it though, and maybe that helps.
And I have a life now. I mean, where before, seriously, where before I didn't. I mean, the weekends were spent recovering. So, I think it would be lots and lots of fun. I really do. Now, I wouldn't say, hey, let's go next weekend, because again, I am super competitive and I'm nice about it. I don't like losing, but I'm very nice about it. But I wouldn't want to show up and feel embarrassed.
But having met the people at the match, do you feel like that you would be nervous or embarrassed now that you met them face to face, and it doesn't feel like it's a bunch of strangers anymore? It feels more like, okay, these are neat people. They're kind of like family. Do you think you would feel nervous if you were to go shoot?
I would still feel nervous. I think that it would not have to do with them, as long as they knew that I wasn't very good at it. It's more about me.
Okay.
Yeah, my issue. It's my issue.
More nervous about safety and...
No, it's about being good.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay.
Sorry.
That's okay. We've had a number of wives on the show who were nervous about that same thing. And you met Chris Schmid, and she was one of them who told us on the show how she went just to be paparazzi for her husband, and everyone at the match said, oh no, you're shooting today. And now she shoots, and now she's really good. So the way people treat new shooters in IDPA, I think, is very different from some of the other shooting sports. There's not the expectation that you're going to be a world beater. It's your first match. You're going to get lots of support and lots of help and lots of, sometimes advice, whether you want it or not, but you're going to get a supportive response from people, and not so much, she's no good. You're not going to get that. Now, obviously, you have a very small sampling size. You've only seen the one match, and it was obviously well run, major regional match. What would you suggest changing, or how would you suggest making it more accessible to wives and girlfriends and kids? I mean, do you have any ideas about the experience, what you would like to see, or how it might be more inviting for people like you who haven't shot before?
I guess because it was so inviting, and that was surprising. And I'll give an example of what I mean by that. The is it SRO? No, that's school resource officer. Your safety officer. Sorry, y'all. I'm learning. Super nice, and I listened to what the rules were about, and Ryland's so good about that, about following them. You don't cross this line, that's the green line, and da-da-da-da. But there were numerous times, I can't even count on one hand, that they went out of their way to say, you wanting to take some video of your husband? Here, come right here. They made sure that I had an unimpeded view, and then they looked after Ryland and said, hey, here. And they kept giving her all kinds of junk. She was like high on sugar the rest of the day.
Wolf Lachlan and his cookies.
Unless it would be a marketing thing, because like I said, you still, as a female who's not familiar, and I came in thinking, oh, this is all these men, and all this testosterone kind of thing. And it was not like that at all. Just very welcoming. And like I said, we got cookies, and there was one time they said, you can, as long as you're over here, stay back behind here. And I think you walked over that way. I said, you can't be over here. You're in competition. They were excited to have family there. Yeah. You could see that. And they would probably like to have more of that. And it's very welcoming.
So really, I think the trick probably is get your family there and let them see what it's like. Bring them to a match and let them watch without the pressure of feeling like they have to shoot.
Mm-hmm.
Come and experience it and meet the people. What would you recommend if you're a husband or a boyfriend, you want to bring your wife, your girlfriend, your kids to a match? What do you recommend for them to do to make it comfortable for them, so that they're not uncomfortable at a match so that they can enjoy it, what do you recommend for a husband or a boyfriend or a dad to make it comfortable for kids and wives so that once they've experienced this, they want to come back?
I think it helped having snacks, bringing some of your own food. I'm not sure how that works with if you bring somebody and you haven't purchased the meal ticket there. I'm not sure how that works because I didn't want to consume food that people had purchased a ticket for. So I'm not sure, if maybe there's a way to manage that. But we had, like I said, we had brought snacks and drinks and we had our booth. But I do think us having those 2 chairs that we could break down and carry with us. Yes. And there was the sweetest elderly couple there. They were so precious. They are goals. I'm telling you, they are goals. They're just their little relationship. They were precious. I don't know who they were, but she brought her magazine. Magazine isn't the kind you read, and when he wasn't shooting, she would be looking at that. They had their umbrella attached, and they had their wagon thing, and it was ideal. So I think we would do that next time. I think that would have helped a lot. Plus, she just wanted to go swim.
Yeah, it was just way too hot for me. I'm like, I'm more of an indoor person. I'm not used to this much hotness.
You're from Texas.
We live in Texas. You are. Yeah, it was pretty humid. But what would you recommend?
I would recommend bringing fans.
Well, we saw fans at the stages. We saw they had fans set up, and I think I even saw a couple of the safety officers. They had this thing that goes around their necks, and it had fans that turned toward their face, and it was, I guess, USB powered.
Lucky!
And I thought that was pretty cool. I need to look that up.
Also, tons of snacks, lots of water, so you don't be dehydrated. But
they had a lot of coolers. Like, we brought our own stuff, and they all had coolers, and they offered.
Yeah.
Numerous times they were like, "Hey, little girl,
right?
You want some water?"
Yeah. I once again, what mom said, I recommend bringing one of those foldable chairs.
Yeah.
Because those are definitely really helpful.
And maybe having our own little wagon, like you've got yours with your equipment and all of that, but we could have one with all of our female junk, sunscreen and snacks.
So go out and get another wagon if you use one, or get one for your family's stuff.
Yes. Okay. Now some stores they sell these, but I brought mine. Is bringing one of those fans you plug in your phone or iPad. It uses your battery up, but it's totally worth it because it's it gives you.
Okay.
And of course, a charger.
Yeah,
a phone charger.
Yeah.
So, as we kind of wrap this up, final thoughts about the experience and what are you looking forward to? Are you looking forward to doing this again? Do you want to?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think what we have to look at for us as a family, because we were psyched about going to a couple of matches. The issue was distance and us traveling.
Right.
And because we've already had several visits across the country, my vehicle, that's a bit draining for us. So if it's, 10 plus hours one way, so looking at distance. Another thing is, location, and I hate to say this, but as a mom and you've got kids, but amenities that are nearby, like I knew she was going to tap out at some point, and that was fine. We were able, 10 minutes down the road, go to the hotel room, let her swim for an hour, change clothes, come back, and we were good for the rest till 7:30 that night.
Yep.
So, maybe, having somewhere for families to stay that the kids can have a break during the day,
and make a family trip of it.
Yes, definitely do that
instead of just we're going to go to the hotel, we're going to get up the next morning, we're going to go to the match, then we're going to go home. So making a family trip of it, that'd be a good idea.
Yes, it would, because if you bring your kids, I bet they will really enjoy it and enjoy the experience.
What did you enjoy doing the following day? Because we made it like a little mini family vacation.
Yeah.
What did we do?
Yes, we went to the zoo. That was so much fun. And I got to see my favorite animals.
Which are?
Red pandas. I love red pandas. Like, when they said zoo, I was really psyched. But then when they said red pandas, I was like, okay, let's go. We're going. We're going, people. Definitely.
So it's given us an opportunity to make family memories.
Yeah. So plan a family trip so that there's more than just the match. Bring lots of comfort food and comfort and water and, comfort things from home. So, things to read, stuff, electronics, stuff to play with, stuff to make yourself comfortable. So shade, folding chairs, that kind of stuff.
The umbrella, the detachable umbrella. And having a backup plan for if kiddo or someone gets a little tired, having some, even if it's a little distance to drive to go back to a hotel room, but somewhere, even if it's, a McDonald's and going and just chilling out there for a little while. And
what's the plan if this happens so that you're not trying to figure out something at the last minute? So plan ahead and know what your options are for things away from the range in case kid gets tired, kid gets sick. Yeah. You need to make sure that you're not making some last minute rush decision or dad's out there shooting and you're trying to figure out what to do. Have some sort of a plan. Yeah,
before you go, that would be the right thing to do.
And I think it would be neat too to, have I know this is me thinking mainly men, but there are women who shoot, but even having like a wives group or whatever, or a family group who, can go out to dinner one night, or, if you're the spouse or family members that aren't shooting, being able to hang out together and that kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, good ideas. Excellent. Well, thank you guys for being on the show, being our 100th interview guests.
Thank you.
And I'm looking forward to us all going to another match together.
Yes, definitely. And I'm so happy to be back on this podcast because it's been quite a little bit.
Seeing as you've never been on this podcast, you're right. It has been a long time.
Yeah, it has been quite a little bit after.
Oh, my goodness.
She's a diva. All right. Thank you both for coming. And thank you all for listening. We'll have another guest for you next week.
Bye.
All right, that's all the time we have for today. I want to thank our guest for coming on the show and our sponsors for making all of this possible. Take a moment, if you would, to check out the website, check out our show notes at unloadpodcast.com. We've got lots of interviews with more amazing guests like the one you heard today. Join our Facebook group at unloadpodcast.com/Facebook for all the latest updates and to connect with other fans of the show. And if you'd like to support the show, we sure would appreciate it. Consider becoming a patron at unloadpodcast.com/extra. I've got some full-length interviews and special content available there exclusively for patrons as well. And if you know somebody or you yourself would make an interesting guest for a future episode of Unload and Show Clear, please contact me at lloyd@unloadpodcast.com or click on the contact page on the website and send us a message. We'd love to hear from you. Tune in again next time for another episode of Unload and Show Clear.